Muhammad ibn al-Jazir al-Qayrawani was an influential 10th-century Muslim Arab physician who became famous for his writings on Islamic medicine. He was born in Qayrawan in modern-day Tunisia. He was known in Europe by the Latinized name al-Jazir. We know the biography of Ibn al-Jazir only by an Andalusian physician Ibn Juljul, and he only knew it by a student Ibn Barit, who went to Qayrawan, Tunisia to learn medicine. The writers of tabaqates or classes of famous men generally considered writing only for religious saviors, the benefactors. The information we have about Ibn al-Jazir are second-hand. They are either incomplete or controversial. Muhammad ibn Jafar ibn Abraham ibn al-Jazir was born in Qayrawan around 895 and died around 979. He lived for about 84 years. He was married, although he did not have children. He had learned the Quranic Kitab in his youth, grammar, theology, fiqh, which means Islamic rules for worshipping, in history at the Mosque Aqba ibn Nafa. He had learned medicine from his father and his uncle that were physicians, and from Isaac ben Salman, a physician in Qayrawan. The existence of a hospital in Qayrawan is not proven. Teaching is provided by the doctors themselves at home. This is the case of Ibn al-Jazir. He said himself in the conclusion of his book Zad al-Musafir, or in Latin the Viaticum, he would be available at home for his students at the end of its daily consultation. The teaching was oral. The paper was not widely spread in the 9th century, the scrolls were rare and expensive. Ibn al-Jazir had a library reach of 25 quintals, as it seems. This figure seems exaggerated. The quintal at the time amounted to 50 kilograms according to some and 25 kilograms according to others. These books were not all about medicine, but also of other disciplines. Ibn al-Jazir was calm and quiet. He did not attend funerals or weddings, and did not take part in festivities. He had great respect for himself. He avoided compromises, did not attend the court and members of the regime, thus taking on fuqaha example of the time. The Viaticum. Ibn al-Jazir wrote a number of books. They deal with grammar, history, jurisprudence, prosody. Many of these books, quoted by different authors, are lost. The most important book of Ibn al-Jazir is Zad al-Musafir, the Viaticum. Translated into Latin, Greek, and Hebrew, it has been copied, recopied, and printed in France and Italy in the 16th century. It was adopted and popularized in Europe as a book for a classical education in medicine. This book is a compilation as the Canon of Avicenna, a mixture of medicine and philosophy. Avicenna was not a medical practitioner, but Ibn al-Jazir was, and his book was useful. It is a medicine handbook from head to toe, designed for clinical teaching. We find neither anatomy nor philosophy. There are lessons written after the course, as noted by the author in the conclusion of his book. This can be seen by the repetitions found in them. The author names the disease, lists the known symptoms, gives the treatment, and sometimes indicates the prognosis. He often cited and referenced the names of foreign authors, as if to give importance to his subject, or for intellectual integrity to justify the loans. As al-Razi preceded him by a few decades, and as Ibn al-Jazir has adopted in the Viaticum the same style as book al-Hawi of al-Razi, but more elaborate and more concise. Given this, many postulate al-Razi's works were introduced to him at a very young age. This is unlikely, because in the Viaticum he does not separate measles from smallpox, which was the innovation of al-Razi. And among the physicians whom he often refers, such Galen, Hippocrates, Dioscorides, Rufus, Tridon, Fragorius, Aristotle, and Isaac Israeli ben Salman, he does not mention al-Razi. Books of these authors must have existed in Tunisia at that time. Tunisia was in constant contact with Rome, Athens, and Byzantium by the sheer size of its economy, and the position of Tunisia in the midst of the Mediterranean Sea. Books. His major work was Zad al-Musafir. He also had some books on geriatric medicine and health of elderly, Kitab Tib al-Mashayiq. Also a book on sleep disorders and another one on forgetfulness and how to strengthen memory, Kitab an-Nizian, and a treatise on causes of mortality. Also he had other books on pediatrics, fevers, sexual disorders, medicine of the poor, therapeutics, Vaticum, coryza, stomach disorders, leprosy, separate drugs, compound drugs. And this is in addition to his books in other areas of science, history, animals, and literature. Like this video, don't hesitate to press like button, share this nice content. Get benefits by following us on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Tumblr, Reddit, Pinterest, Instagram, and Snapchat. Don't hesitate to support the content that you like. I invite you to donate and support us via Patreon. Is a secure and famous platform.